During this episode of Disconnection, we will be speaking to Rob McBay, who will be sharing with us real and relatable stories covering a range of topics from his unique perspective. Rob, glad to have you here today.
Thank you guys for having me. This is like my first podcast I've ever done. I'm very thankful for you guys for having me, so thank you.
We're happy to have you here, man. We want to know, Rob, what are you about?
So, I'm 26 years old. I'm a choreographer, and, I do an array of things. I'm not just a choreographer, I'm also a creative visionary. I do help people out with branding, if they, request for my help. So I work for a dance studio in upstate New York. It's in Pearl River. It's not really upstate, but it's, for the most part, like New York State. And then I work for a music artist. Her name's Lea Robinson. Cool. You might know her family. Her family's the Sugarhill Gang. Mm-hmm. Her grandmother was Sylvia Robinson. So she has been named, the granddaughter of HipHop, which has been, really insane to work with her. And
I can imagine.
We've become, the best of friends over time. So that's great too. But,
over time, why don't you tell us about the initiation of that friendship?
So there was somebody that I was friends with at the time. And he had told me that he was friends with Darnell. And because he had gone to Tenafly High School. And
Darnell is Leah's brother, right?
Yes, Darnell's Leah's brother.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, you should really check Lea out. He showed me like some YouTube video of her singing in the bathroom. She was singing like 1+1 by Beyonce. And I was just like, wow, who is this girl? Like, I must get in contact with her, like whatever. So I literally hit her up on Facebook. Cool. And I was just like, hey, I'm a friend of so-and-so's. I do know your brother. Like, I knew Darnell a little bit, but I wasn't really, that close with him. Like, I wasn't at the Super Sweet 16 or anything like that in high school, even though I really wish I went to that. So, and I hit her up and I was just like, I would love to get you in the studio and, teach you some of my work. And if you like what you're learning, then, we can go from there. And if not, thank you for your time. And 5 years later, here we are. So
that's awesome.
It's been quite a ride, and we are just getting started.
So let's take it back to the true beginnings of this. You originally got into dancing or choreography because it was just something you loved doing, like.
Well, growing up, my parents kind of put me in just about everything.
Let you try all the different classes.
The sports never stuck. Of course, I just like happened to be on those winning teams in rec and like baseball and basketball and stuff. But I was never a real asset or anything like that. I was really good at gymnastics. So I was taking gymnastics at a gym. They didn't offer a men's competitive team. So my parents asked, the director, they were like, what can he do from here? So they were like, well, he can go into diving because, that still incorporates all the acrobatics that are involved in diving and stuff like that. Or he can go into dance because, that's more of like the rhythmic side of gymnastics, even though, male gymnastics is like very, masculine. It's not, there's not too much choreography in it, like, women's gymnastics, but there's, it's a lot more, it's still rhythmic, whatever. So I tried diving for a while. I was actually like pretty good at it. I was, trained. I would get like really, I'd do it over the summer, but I got like really serious about it because I wanted to like, win. So I would go to Columbia University and do this like program where I was training with the coach there and like doing all this crazy stuff. And then, I hit a crossroad because I started dancing too.
Diving, gymnastics, and then dance.
Yeah.
Wow.
So my this lady who worked at the front desk of my mom's gym was like, oh, you should take Robert to this studio. It's really good. It was called Needed Arts Dance Extensions in Park Ridge, and he was like, oh, you should totally check it out. Bring him there, whatever. And I went to the summer camp, and then I was a little hesitant at first when I got there, because I was just like I saw everyone like dress up for ballet, and I was like, oh no, I can't do that. I'm a guy, I can't really do that. But then I hit a crossroad. I got I started getting involved seriously, and then I had to choose, and then I chose dance instead because both of them were very time consuming, but dance was like I had my second year of being there, I had gotten on the competition team.
Wow.
And once I had done that, I was dancing like 3 hours a day.
And
so
were you
like,
dancing in that ballet outfit?
not in that ballet outfit. I mean, like I just saw girls in like the regular uniforms, like just like
tights.
the skirt, tights, leotard, whatever.
What was it for guys?
What it's supposed to be is a tight white t-shirt and black tights and ballet slippers, but I got away with t-shirt and shirts.
How'd you do that?
I got away with a t-shirt and shorts, and I didn't have to wear the tights.
Put the tights on.
Yeah,
Tights seem
but I
comfortable.
had to wear a dance belt, when I was competing.
True.
Which really sucked.
What does a dance belt mean? I don't even know what that is.
It's pretty much a thong.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's like it looks like a jock strap, but then it like comes around back, and it's completely
Like a
uncomfortable.
thin
Yeah,
strap.
it's really uncomfortable. I don't know how girls do it every day. I really don't.
Shout out to all the thong wearing chicks out there.
Yes, like I really don't. I don't know how they do it.
Yeah.
It's not fun, but I was able to get higher in my jumps and stuff like that. So maybe there's the binding of boxers. I really don't know.
Gives you a little extra boost in there.
But yeah, so I got really serious with it, and I really loved it. And then I just I went away to school, and then I went away for a little bit, and then I came home, and then I just was like, I don't want to after you go to a dance studio, and then once you graduate in high school, you graduate the dance studio. It's like you can't really go there. I mean, and also just like
is it weird like to have a post high school person in the studio sort of thing?
Yeah, I mean, like some studios have it like super seniors, but like I had gone away to school, so like that's also kind of like the what everybody does, the tradition. Everyone, you leave to go to school, you go to college,
especially in this area.
And then if you want to take your talents to college, you can try out for a team and like do it that way, or figure it out. So I'd come home from school. I'd gone away to school for a couple of years, and I finished up back here. And while I was here, second I came home, like back to Jersey, I, would just go into a studio and just dance. Like there was, I went to a gym, and they had a bunch of studios, and I knew the owner really well. So I was able to just like go in there whenever I wanted. And I would just, fool around, like whatever, just dance, play around.
What kind of dance is it, by the way? I feel like we established that.
I was trained in ballet, lyrical, contemporary, modern, jazz, hip-hop, Broadway, theater, a little tap. Didn't really take a full class, but some in the summer camps that we were required to take, that we would have to take a tap class.
Cool.
Can't tap save my life, but I tried it. So yeah, I'm trained in like pretty much all the main styles except for ballroom. Never really picked up ballroom.
The one style of dance I'd like to know how to do, maybe ballroom and like salsa.
Yeah,
bit,
I mean, I'm sure I could pick it up pretty quickly,
chicks,
but that's just
right. Your foundation is already so wide.
Totally.
Yeah. So so it's just mainly that, and then I just started dancing a lot, and I was like, I have to get back into this. So then like shortly after that is when I had that conversation with my friend, and he had told me about Lea, and that's when I had started working with her again, and then that kind of like got me back into the dance world in terms of like, working with her. We had 2 backup dancers, and we would just go around to like show to show, just like all like these showcases that were being put on. And like, we've done shows in some of like the craziest places. Just like, sometimes there would be, 100 people there. Sometimes there would be like 10 people there,
right.
But, it didn't matter. Like, cause you have to give the show of your life every single time, cause you never know who's going to be in that audience. So
good point.
And when you're watching somebody who's your friend like Lea, and she needs to give the show of her life every time, do you have a tough time looking at it objectively, as opposed to this is your friend, you're happy that she's just doing it, but are you able to keep your head professionally focused to make sure that she's doing exactly what she should be doing?
Me and her have always been friends right from the start when we started working together, but it was more of a business relationship
Okay.
when we first started out.
So you were coming in as kind of a professional.
I
at
actually
first, even
didn't
though you
really
were-
have her number like the first couple of years working with her.
Wow.
Everything that I had to do was I had to go through her manager.
Wow.
So like, I didn't really have much contact with her.
Right.
And then there'd be times having rehearsals. I was like, can I just have her number? Cause like, you're not here. And like, I can't be like going through a second party to get in touch with her when I need to like talk to her like right now.
Definitely.
So, it got to the point where I had her number, and then, surely enough, our team, took a big change in terms of people that were involved and stuff like that, for the better, definitely for the better. But, and then that also just like switched, where we were in our personal, like, relationship, just like, working together, we became a lot closer, and then we became, really, really good friends. But, at first, it was more like, this is what we're doing.
Very professional.
Yeah.
capacity.
And like, I would sometimes only talk to her until we got to what we were doing. Like, we're doing a show, like I would, have some sort of contact with her, but like,
Right.
I wouldn't really talk to her until I got to see her.
Like I had met her before, and I know the family, I know Darnell, and you're making it sound like in this context when you were working with her, it sounds like she's like almost like Michael Jackson, like put away, you don't get the contact with her. What's the setting like walking into? I'm assuming that you had never worked with anybody that's been now a TV personality, I guess, right? What was the like shock and change when you were walking in there? Like what is the scenario?
When
like
I
in there?
like, definitely wanted to like, make sure that like, I'm very, I'm always very professional when it comes to, working with artists. But, the first, couple of years was, definitely like, I was like, not like really walking on eggshells, but I just want to make
Right.
sure like everything was like perfect and fine. And I'm definitely still like that because like, we're still the best friends, but we still have to make sure that like, at the end of the day, we have a job to do.
Of course.
And we need to make sure that it gets done. So, but her presence, like, the first year or so was like a little intimidating because like, she's got this family and she's just like, they're very well known in this area. And it was just like,
A true lineage, you would say, right?
Yeah.
It's interesting that you were a part of the first family of HipHop. It's the TV show on, what is it, BET?
No, actually Bravo.
Bravo, okay.
Yeah.
So you were initially, I remember talking to you and you were like, I'm going to be on it like a little bit here and there. But then we spoke after the first season and you were like, yeah, like I had a big part in it, not massive, but you were in more than you thought you would be. Tell me a little bit about that.
It's funny because when right before we started filming, they were trying to, they were like, so, who are you with all the time? Like, what's your, schedule like and this and that. And Lea was like, in terms of people, like, I'm telling you right now, like, I'm with Robbie 24/7. Like, I'm just going to tell you, I'm just going to tell you that right now. And like, they're like, oh, okay, like, whatever. She's like, no, really. Like, he is there. Like, you will see him, like, literally every time we film. Like, we're always doing stuff together. So, like, just so you know, like, he's going to be there a lot. And I was because, I'm not only, her choreographer, I've also become her assistant. And like I would say these last couple of years, I've taken on that role. And then, I'm also creative visionary for her as well. But so we're always, together.
Right.
And we filmed like, obviously, a show is going to film, as much material as they can get. And we filmed like, a good amount of stuff that that I was in, and I didn't really know what was going to make it to the final cut and what and whatever. So I was just like waiting, and then I saw the first episode. I was like I saw like a glimpse of me in the studio with her, and I was like, okay, cool. And then the season started panning out and I was like, okay, maybe I'm not really going to be in it, like whatever. Cause they were like going out of order in terms of like the order of what we filmed. I was going through.
They create a little narrative.
Yeah. So they like throughout the first few episodes, I was like, I'm probably not gonna be in it like that as much as I thought I was gonna be in it. Cause I filmed, like a good amount. I think I counted it. It was like, I filmed like around like 14 like different separate times of just like different things that we were
How many
doing.
episodes was the season?
It was 8.
Okay.
Or was
cool.
no, it was I think it was 9 actually.
Okay.
8 or 9. And we filmed for about 6 months, I would say. Or was it 6 months? We filmed in July, August, September, October, November. Yeah, it was actually about like 7 months actually. Wow. But we stopped filming like all the scenes, like I would say in October, and then we were still filming, the interview stuff for a while
Can
up
I
until
ask you
like
a quick
February.
question?
Yeah.
So I've always been interested in how reality TV show works. Like I know they set you up in a scene, right? Like if you're filming, it's not. Is it just like where you are and the camera's on you, or they're like, okay, you guys are here and you're trying to figure out this, and now go. Like, is it kind of more like that? Not saying there's a script, but saying that like there's a purpose to each scene that they're filming is kind of
the
my
show
question.
definitely wasn't scripted. There's nothing that's fake about the show.
Right.
As people like to, it's I guess it's a stigma for
I'm not saying
reality.
that
Reality
it's fake. I'm
shows in
just
general.
trying to
Yeah.
understand exactly how it works. Like, what's the direction?
Well, basically, like you'll go into a scene and it's kind of like. It's almost like you have like somebody like walking, like you're about to do a press conference and like they're walking with you as you're about to go give the press conference and they're giving you all these points to cover. It's kind of like that. It's like, okay, so you're going to go in there. I want you to talk about this and that, like whatever. And everything's free. They don't tell you to like, can you please, say this? You kind of go. Or sometimes if, they don't like, what they said, like how you delivered something, they'll be like, that was great, but can you repeat that? But then can you just word it like this? It'll happen like that, but nothing's really fake. Being around this family for this long, I could definitely say that everything that you see in this show is, real life situation.
Cool.
Yeah.
And they do take that, like we said at the beginning when you were talking about the reality show, is that they kind of create a narrative, they create a story behind it, and it's not that the story is fake, it's just the way they want to present it to the public.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that, they,
it's to create drama and more of like an enticing, encompassing, oh my God,
Well,
what
it's
is
just got
going
to
to
be
happen
interesting.
next?
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I will
exactly.
have to say, like, there was no, like, the production company, like, they did not create any sort of drama. It was all, like...
Everything that was happening.
Yeah, it was all, like, real, like, real stuff. Everything was real. You really got, what you asked for. Like, it was... Yeah, it was, it was probably one of the realest reality shows that I've ever seen.
Also because you're in it.
Yeah, because I actually lived it, and like I know everything that's going on.
Right.
And, like it's just a lot of these reality shows do tend to be fake, and the producers do tell them to do this and that, and
or get drunk before an episode because we want you to react in a certain way.
Yeah, like I would definitely say that like at all the issues that were being, a lot of the issues that were being handled were real life things that are going on.
Real issues.
Like real
that were being
issues.
resolved in reality. And they would just happen to be filming them.
Which almost, a lot of the times, Lea will say like, that, filming the show was like almost a little therapeutic in terms of like, putting all of them into uncomfortable situations in terms of talking about things that they don't really want to talk about all the time.
Definitely.
When it comes to family things.
Yeah.
And really, expressing how you feel and all that stuff like that. And I definitely think, that aspect of it was definitely good for her and them in terms of like, getting things off their chest that maybe they had been bottling up for so long. But, it was all real stuff. It wasn't, none of it was really fake. A lot of it, the first couple of episodes that, you have to tell the viewers, who they are in terms of their family. So it's like almost like, a cool history lesson in terms of like
everybody had to show off their personality, kind of.
Because, they're a legacy,
Right.
They've, people, a lot of artists, big artists use their stuff, use their material, are always, paying tribute to them and always like sampling them and,
Definitely.
and always working with them. So it's pretty cool.
So can I ask you, in the realm of seeing this great family, and you're lucky enough to be working with them, right? That's awesome. But you also have your own, professional abilities to bring to the table. Where do you see yourself going from this path, or where would you like to go from this path?
Right now, we are working on Leah's album release. So I'm really focused on that right now.
Cool.
This is the first time that she's going to be releasing, a legit album that is coming out. It's concise. It's good. It's
What kind of
hefty.
album? What kind of music?
I would say she's going for like the more like R&B route. Yeah.
Love us some R&B over here.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
She's definitely created her own lane with this one. I don't hear anyone out right now that is coming out with music like her. I think the radio's missing it these days. Everyone's into like this trendy,
Super
fast
catchy.
rap, like super catchy.
Yep.
I mean, her songs are really catchy, but I mean, I think people are missing her, that cool, collected girl that is, has like this swag that's just like so awesome. And, it's just like a really cool R&B artist. And that is real. Like, her music's real, she definitely opens up a lot on this album.
That's
and
awesome.
I think a lot of people are going to be able to, relate to it. And I also think that there is going to be a song on like that everyone's going to love. Like, you might not like this one, but I'm sure promise you you'll like this one. There's going to be something for everyone on the album. I'm really excited for it to come out because it's been a long time coming.
When's that coming out?
We're looking at the first quarter. Cool. So we're going to release then, and then we're just working out promo right now, which is, just taking, some time, just make sure we get it right.
Hey guys, we're going to take a quick little break here and give a big thank you to our sponsor, the Blockchain Academy. They let us use their studio and their equipment, and they teach you all about blockchain technology. You can check them out online. They have world-class instructors, and they're going to teach you how to use blockchain. So we just want to say thank you to them again, and let's get back to the show.
Did you get any audio tracks on this album? If you're like, if you don't hear this track, it's not a Rob McBay exclusive.
No. But we've been filming a lot of videos.
Cool.
We've been really banging them out. We just did one yesterday, actually. We just shot a video yesterday for one of our songs.
Awesome.
So we've done about 3 so far. The second one we did had more my choreography in it with my dancers.
With your
shout
dancers
out to
included.
Danielle and shout out to Natalie and Emily, not Danielle.
That must be an extremely rewarding feeling to finally see your dancers be able to, show their stuff on an actual professional.
Well, my
music video.
dancers, these girls, Natalie and Emily, they are working dancers. So they're one of them. Emily is right now a New York Rangers cheerleader. She also was a New York Jets cheerleader, and she was also dancing on a cruise ship for a Norwegian cruise line. And Natalie has been dancing for literally everyone lately. She's been killing it. She's been working with like Fat Joe and Eve. She did a couple shows with Eve, and then she works with a lot of Spanish artists too. So she's been killing it. She goes to Madison Square Garden, like all the arenas. She's been doing really
And these are your dancers. In a sense.
I mean, Natalie's been with us for a really long time. Natalie's been, working with Lea for like a really long time as well. Emily, we just brought on, but I definitely will be
when you're saying
keeping
you
her
just
around.
brought on, like, are you like you have a dance studio that you go specifically with them, where you're doing an informal class, or how's it working?
See,
exactly?
it gets a little tricky in terms of in this industry, in the dance industry, because you have to just like kind of network and try and find dancers that are in the vicinity of where you are or where you're trying to do something. So you need to just like, pretty much, just keep networking, and then you get, so when I came back from school and I wanted to get back into this and do all the stuff like that, I started, connecting with people that, I knew danced in high school. and you know, see if they were still dancing, and like obviously you keep in touch and you know who's dancing and who's not, like, you know, so from there you just keep networking and seeing
Right.
you know, who is around and who's able to you know, be a part of what you're doing. And luckily we came across Natalie in a casting call, and we had the casting call in Hackensack. And it wasn't, there used to be more than one choreographer for Lea other than me. And now it's just me. So,
Good
but
for
he
you.
had, so he brought a lot of people to this casting call, and Natalie happened to be one of them. And I was like, she's perfect.
Awesome.
So she's been dancing for us for a while. And then Emily, I had found her out through Natalie. And, you know, and I looked her up on Instagram, and I was like, oh, she's unbelievable. I must have her.
She will be mine.
Yeah. So, but yeah, at first it was definitely a little difficult trying to find, you know, dancers, you know, who are around and willing to work, because a lot of them are in New York, and it just gets a little difficult for rehearsals and stuff like that. This is when we were first starting out. Now it's just like, you know, really simple. Just to, you know, find dancers to do, you know.
And are you also creating a name, because you're working with Lea so intimately? You're also still able to brand yourself as that choreographer. So you said that yesterday you filmed a music video that was more of your choreography. So that's
not yesterday. So
okay.
So yesterday was just for one of her songs on her album. And then the second one we did, which was like a few weeks ago, was my choreography. Which is great because it turned out really sick. I'm like really excited to see it because I saw the playbacks and I was freaking out. So
where do music videos get published now? You put them on YouTube, I'm assuming. Can you get stuff to play on MTV anymore? Like, is that a thing?
Well, actually, I'm sure you've heard of Music Choice.
Yes.
Music Choice is a really big platform for that. Obviously, YouTube is everything these days. Music Choice actually premiered her first video. Not first video ever, but her first video that we put out like recently. We released it, you know, while the show was on the air. And it was for her single, Hey Young Boy. But yeah, it's really YouTube, you know, those Vivo channels.
Right.
You know, it's just, that's pretty much what it is. You know, snippets on Instagram, but like, you know, videos are pretty much coming out like on TV, on MTV, you know, thank God TRL's back.
TRL's back? I didn't know.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
TRL's back.
Wow, who's
Yeah.
hosting? It was Carson Daly, or am I imagining that?
Yeah, it was Carson Daly.
Oh, gosh.
This guy's younger. He was on Wild 'N Out, I think.
He was on Wild, not Nick Cannon, right?
No, it's not Nick Cannon. I would have just said Nick Cannon. But yeah, he seems pretty cool.
Cool.
He seems awesome. Love to meet him. But yeah, so TRL's back, so that's definitely a big platform again now. I think right now they're being a little nostalgic and you know, showing like old like videos that were popular when TRL was like, you know, a big deal. But yeah, so it's pretty much just like, you know, YouTube, those, you know, music channels like MTV, Music Choice. But yeah, there's a few more. Tidal, that's another big one.
Right.
Tidal's a big one. But yeah, so right now we're figuring out what's going to be the best platform for all these to come out. But yeah, it's been pretty cool shooting these videos.
That's awesome.
And able to advertise all of your choreography in general.
Yeah. You know, I've been wanting to do
you get like
this
a
for a
credit
really
on
long
these?
time. Huh?
You get like a credit on the video?
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I've also been not only working with Lea, but I also just did a video with TT the artist. You know, she's an up and coming rapper.
Cool.
It was probably one of the coolest shoots I've ever done. It was like literally we were in like this crazy bar. I don't even know, like we were in like Brooklyn somewhere. And there was just like literally it was like it looked like everything that you could see in a garage sale was like brought to this place. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
Coolest thing I've ever done. It was literally in like, you know, this bar, and my scene, like the whole ceiling was black lights, and all of my dancers were painted in like neon paint by these painters, and it was like the coolest thing ever. It looked really, really dope.
That
like
sounds
just
awesome.
Like glowing in the dark, just killing it. It looked really. I'm really excited for that to come out. I think it comes out in like a couple months.
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. It sounds
yeah,
really cool.
it looked really cool. So I'm excited to see that. Natalie was in that as well, along with do you know Carly Harper?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was in it too.
Very
Shout
cool.
out to Carly.
What up, Carly?
Yeah. And my friend Ellie Bongiorno, she was in it too.
So I'd like to change the subject a little bit. In the first conversation that we had on this podcast, which was me and Ben interviewing each other, we talked a little bit about the comfort that people feel in more of a artistic scene. So specifically, I can look into modeling. And so I'd like to kind of push the question over to you in the dance world. What I have found is that someone who's gay is way more comfortable in expressing themselves in modeling. And so does that play out into dance? And follow-up to that question is, are you worried about, or were you worried about when you were younger doing gymnastics and dance and diving, about someone judging you in general? You know, being a very big gay man, it's not like someone's going to come up to you and bully you, but did you experience that feeling when you were growing
it's
up?
funny that you said that, because bullied was all I ever was.
Really?
Oh, man.
Growing up.
Sorry.
Yeah. I was bullied, my entire life. I'm very open about it. Literally my entire life. Up until high school, I would say. It was really bad. But yeah, I would definitely get made fun of a lot. And then,
How'd you keep your head up high doing all these activities? You just enjoyed what you were doing?
yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you, it was really hard. I struggled with it a lot. But once I started, once I got into high school,
Right.
and I started, dancing a lot, and I had this, group of friends like outside of school. And then I was also, hanging out with kids, that were, in my rival high school.
Which was what?
Which is ironic, Old Japan.
Okay.
Okay.
So I was hanging out with them a lot. So, it definitely got better. And then I also, but also dancing gave me like a lot of confidence in terms of, being able to, your presence and, just like knowing like who you are. And, it was just
Being comfortable with your body movements in general.
Yeah, so I was just, so then once I got into high school, and then people would still make jabs at me and try and make fun of me, try and get on me about dancing. I started to get a mouth, and I was like, yeah, okay, you can be mad that you can make fun of me that I dance, but I've also seen more girls undressed than you have in your entire life. So let's talk about that for a
Tell
second.
them about the goods.
And then, it's the ultimate. It would be like an ultimate shutdown, because they have nothing
Right.
to say after
Well,
that.
what do you say to that? Because meanwhile, they're in the boys' locker room undressing with all the football and wrestlers. I mean,
Which is where I'd honestly rather be.
yeah, I figured you were going to say
I've
that.
seen a lot of dicks in wrestling
Yeah,
practice.
that's pleasant. Yeah, I've seen a lot of them in the military. I mean,
You
it's,
showered together,
yeah.
it's comfortable.
So here's a question for you. At what point did you feel comfortable enough to come out? Was that in high school, before dance, back in middle school? When did you...
It was in high school.
Okay.
I was actually on a cruise with 8 of my best friends.
Girls and guys.
And if they ever hear this podcast, they're gonna laugh really hard. But yeah, we were just out, and we were on a cruise for my birthday, and my friend Katie's birthday, and it was just I think it was the last night, yeah, and they kind of just came to me. They're like, "Are you, gay or bi, or is it it's okay if you are. We just want to know." And we figured maybe this would be a good time to ask you, since we're nowhere near home. We're in the middle of the ocean,
And it's just us.
it was a cruise
friends.
it was a cruise to Bermuda, so
Oh,
it was
wow.
kind of just yeah. So we were coming back from there, and I was just no one's literally no one's here.
And did you appreciate them finding that moment to bring that up to you at that point?
It was definitely very uncomfortable. I will not lie to you. It was very uncomfortable, but I finally came out, and it was just like, it was totally fine. They were like really cool with it. So then like once you know, Cat was out of the bag, then when I came home, I pretty much should have had like a megaphone, like I was like, oh, like, you know, but it was really easy. You know, but it wasn't easy at first. But like, you know, once I initially came out, it was, you know, it was really easy to just like, you know.
What was holding you back from trying to get over that hump? Can I ask you?
Well, I'd already been bullied a ton, so I, you know, was
just figured everybody was gonna be an asshole.
Yeah, I just figured everyone was gonna be. But then, you know, what I'd learned from people is that like people were being, you know, mean to me because I was in the closet, which doesn't really make sense at all. Like there's really no justification for bullying anyone.
100%
you know,
agree.
And it's obviously gotten better over the years, but you know, when we were in high school, it was definitely a different time. You know, now like being gay is like chic. It's like, oh, you're gay, like that's wow. It's like a fad. It's like a fashion.
It does feel like I hear about much younger kids coming out.
It's like a fashion style. It's like, oh, cool. Like
it's also completely. I wouldn't say completely. Maybe I'd take that back, but it's more welcomed to the point where I feel like we've had those conversations now about kids who haven't come out and why is it that they're being bullied because they haven't come out. And now that those conversations are in everyone's minds, we're able to go, oh, like you're a young boy. Like maybe a parent is more willing to say like, hey, like, listen, son, daughter, if you are gay, it's okay. I still love you. Like, don't feel ashamed about anything that you do or feel towards anyone.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot, you know, it's, you know, talked about more and it's definitely a lot more accepted. And not that it wasn't then, but, you know, everyone has their own time in terms of when they decide they want to come out.
Right.
But there's definitely more awareness about it now, and people are a lot more hands-on about it and willing to, you know, talk about it more. And it's definitely a more discussed topic of conversation at this day and age. So, which is great because, you know, when I came out, it was definitely like still, I don't know, I guess it was still like a little underground for like kids my age to come out. Like, you know, obviously there were a ton of people who came out of the closet before me.
Of course. Yeah.
But I definitely did it at an early age. You know, I did it, you know, going into my junior year of high school.
Did you see some of your friends shy away once you did come out?
No, everyone was like so excited. They're like, oh my God, like that's, you know, it was like, everyone was like really accepting about it. And
this
then
is
like
because
once
you just said 2 years into it, you had been doing dance then 3 years, right? Or a junior?
Well, I'd been dancing I'd been dancing for a while. I always was in and out of workshops, but I didn't start my like legit training until I was like in about 8th grade.
Okay.
But I was on the competition team starting high school.
Did it empower you to come out while in the dance studio? So taking that.
No, it wasn't any. No, that like, you know, me, you know, being a part of that team like didn't give me like the confidence to do it.
I'll rephrase. Did it empower you in dance to come out and be more of yourself and to be free?
I mean, it definitely helped a lot. You know, there was definitely a big weight off my shoulders. You know, I was just like allowed to be myself and like not have to like pretend that I liked girls.
Right.
You know, that was a really funny joke that I had going for a little while.
That you liked girls?
Yeah, and that like, you know.
Did your dance mates, I mean, I'm not sure what to call them, who were girls, when you finally came out, did they feel more comfortable around you?
They were definitely always comfortable around me. I don't think that ever changed. You know, I'd always been hanging out with groups of girls like for the longest time because like all the guys were like, you know, complete assholes to me. So I didn't, you know, really have like many guy friends like growing up. So like I would only hang out with the girls because, you know, they were the only ones that were nice to me. So, you know, I was always like hanging out with girls and like very rarely I was hanging out with guys. And if I ever did, it was only like maybe like one at a time. Like I would just like, I'd go over to like a friend's house, like, you know, but it was like very rare.
One-on-ones.
You know? Yeah. Like I would always just like hang out with like, you know, a few girls at a time, just like go running around, just like going here, going there, whatever. So, you know, when it became to being on that team, you know, nothing really changed.
What advice would you give to someone who is maybe still in the closet and, you know, just a little bit of the value that you found in coming out, what would you share with them?
You know, I would say that I know it might be really difficult right now, and God bless you if you're getting made fun of it, getting made fun of for it. But, you know, it's going to be okay, and trust the people that are your real friends. And, you know who your real friends are. And just, you know, if you're a little hesitant to tell your parents, like, you know, at first, like, you know, that's okay. I would definitely, like, you know, I came out, you know, to my friends first, and then later came out to my parents.
Was there a different reaction?
It's obviously easier. No, everyone, like, kind of, like, already knew. Everyone's like, oh, okay. Like, everyone, I was like,
kind of a relief for you.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. So, but, you know, and if you know, my advice would be, like, you know, if you trust these people and, like, you know, you want to make sure that, you know, you're telling somebody that, like, you know, is your real friend and not someone that's just going to, like, air your dirty laundry out to, like, the whole school, or people that you know, you know, because it's not just, you know, younger kids that are coming out. You know, people come out, like, when they're, you know, way out of college and, like, you know, figure it out then. And if there are people that, you know, don't accept you for, you know, who you are and, you know, your orientation, like, you know, they're never meant to be part of your life in the first place.
Tell them to get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Get the hell out of here.
Yeah. Just, like, peace. Like, see you later.
Don't need
like,
that in your life,
yeah,
right?
You don't need that at all. Like, you know, there are even, like, some friends that I have that are still, like, kind of, you know, like, I'll, you know, joke around with them, and then they kind of get a little tensed up, and I'm like, ugh.
Meaning you flirt with them and it's a guy and they feel like you're coming on to them?
Oh, you said he's kidding
No,
around.
it's not. It's just like it's very, like, little, like, very, like, little stuff. And, like, just like the most minuscule thing, and it's like, okay,
Grow up, man, right?
Yeah, it's like, it's just like, grow up.
Totally.
Yeah.
This ain't the 1950s. Like, get over this shit, right?
So
just another dude interested in some other dudes, and we're all having fun here, right? What's wrong with that?
Yeah. But, and, you know, what I've, you know, have learned, like, you know, back in, like, when I was taking psychology is, like, you know, the people that are the most negative about it are usually the ones that are probably gay themselves. So
definitely
an internal denial of them allowing to feel something.
Yeah.
They say that a lot of homophobics are gay.
I really wish it was, like, you know, even though it's a lot more accepted these days, it still has this, like, stigma attached to it. And there's still, like, a lot of people that are, like, deep down, like, they really are, you know, bi or gay, and, like, it's just, like, you know, it's never gonna surface because of, like, their overall fear of, like, how they're gonna, you know, how people are gonna react if, like, they were to come out. So it's kind of just, you know, it's sad, but, like, you know, that's life.
It's an unfortunate thing. I, like, not to speak for other people, because what the fuck do I know, but I'm imagining that some of them, maybe you grow up in a family where it's so not okay for whatever reason, like your parents are dicks, or they're just not understanding or moving forward. Or maybe, like, you know, your social circles, they were bullied, or they see somebody else bullied growing up for this sort of stuff, and it can just make them feel shitty about it, and also deny it to themselves. And you can almost see how somebody could, you know, how it could build up inside in a shitty way, where a person is so sure that he's not, that it comes out in a hateful way. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So it's usually, like, the curiosities that person has in their mind, but then, like, they know that, like, it's not, like, really that accepted. So then it just, like, converts, it, like, gets exerted out in a negative way, like your own personal curiosities, because, like, you, like, don't want to have those in your head because, like, you know, God forbid someone found out, but, like, it's really just all in your head. Like, it's like this mind fuck that people play in themselves when it comes to this stuff.
Too much analyzing in general.
Yeah.
You fall into a tumble of not really knowing
Excuse me.
don't worry about it. What to actually go for.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just sad on multiple levels. You don't get to explore yourself and things you want to enjoy. and at the same time you're spreading a negative message. It's
Yeah.
just shitty.
And then,
So,
then they usually like, takes like their entire life to find out. Like when they're just like in too deep, they got like, they're married, they have kids, and then it just gets really messy.
It destroys the family life. The kids are confused as to what is really happening because they bottled it up for so long.
It's sad. But
let's change the subject. Let's get back to you as a brand, as a choreographer in general. So you're an instructor. Who are you instructing? You said it was actually in upstate New York?
yes, it's New York State. It's not like upstate New York. Like, I'm not driving to the Catskills every day to teach dance.
Okay.
Even though I just
Pearl
go back
River's
every
like an
way.
hour out from here, right? It's not so far.
Yeah, it's not an hour. I would say it's about like 40 minutes from exactly where we are right now. From where I am, like where I live, like from my house, it's about like 25 minutes. It's not that bad of a drive. And it's also like coincidentally like down the street from like the studio that I grew up at, which is like really
Check
nice.
that out.
yeah, which
nostalgic.
is like really funny. Yeah, very nostalgic. Though, like especially the route in terms of the way I go to work. It's almost the same exact
That's funny.
route that I used to take when I would go to dance. So
What are your
it's pretty
students doing right
interesting.
now?
Right now, they might be at the studio rehearsing. I'm not sure if we have practice today, but it's because I didn't do the production number this year. So they might be at the studio. If not, I hope they're doing their homework because they need to, or going over my dances because they need to do that too.
You have been an instructor for how long?
I would say that I've been teaching for about 4 years now.
Have you been involved with past competitions?
Past competitions in terms of
like, so sometimes instructors, like you used to do gymnastics and there was no boys team specifically. Are you bringing your students to competitions?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yes, we are. So, I grew up in a very competitive studio. This studio also competes that I'm at right now. I used to teach at Carly Harper's studio.
Right.
And then I started teaching at Dance Central, which is in Pearl River. And they compete as well. And they're phenomenal kids. And we go to a lot of competitions. This year we're going to 4 regional competitions, and then we'll go to nationals. So that's 5 competitions in total. Yeah. Last year it was 1 less. So we did 3 regionals and then 1 national. So it was 4. But they just added another one this year, which is great because I love competitions.
That's amazing. What is it? What are the requirements at the regionals to go to the nationals? Or do you already know you're going to nationals?
Usually you have to, get, a decent score.
That would make sense.
Yeah, a decent score. So there are all these different competitions, these dance competitions, right? And each dance competition has their own nationals.
Okay.
So, and they have it at like a big convention center, and, studios come from literally all over, and it's like a big to-do. The nationals that I was at this past July was in Wildwood at their big convention center for a competition that's called Dance Explosion. So they have,
Awesome.
these names are insane. Dance Explosion, Legacy, Star Power.
Oh wow, these are fun.
I'm
And
into
you guys
it.
were all down at
On
Wildwood
point.
too, so I'm sure it's a good time besides just
Yeah, I
competition.
actually I have a beach house in Manasquan.
Oh, sick.
So I just stay there, and then I would drive down. Even though the drive really is like, I was like, oh, I'll be fine. Like it's a good. I'll be already down there. Like whatever. It's still like an hour and a half drive to Wildwood from my beach house. It
Damn.
was strenuous, but because I wasn't gonna get a hotel, because I was like, why am I gonna get a hotel if I have a beach house?
Right.
Like that's like
Already hanging.
exactly.
Yeah.
So. And I have the beach house with like a bunch of my friends, so
You guys rent it out every summer.
Yeah, we rented out every
That's
summer.
cool.
So it was a good time. But yeah, so I would just stay there. So each regional competition has a nationals. So we usually do Dance Explosion Nationals. We'll be doing it this year as well. But yeah, so you go to the regionals, and in order to be qualified for nationals, you have to score, get a certain score.
Okay.
And then, you get the bid, which is great. But most of the time, like, you can go to nationals. It's not like, you almost have to like stand there on the stage and do nothing not to go to nationals.
Wow. So because all of these regionals, you're going to 4 regionals, 1 national this year, have you been invited to multiple national competitions?
We've just been invited to this one,
Right.
the one that we usually go to.
Right.
We do get invites. They'll give you like, X amount of dollars, like, for entry fees, like, scholarships and things like that. We do get those.
Right.
But in terms of like getting like a huge, every competition is different, but like, depending on how you do, like, you're most likely welcome to come to nationals. But, you kind of know before the competition season even starts, which is January, you kind of know, like, right after nationals ends, like, which one you're doing next. You kind of have to plan that early because you have to notify all the parents. And that's like this whole email, like,
chain that the parents have to respond to. Oh, I can't make it. Can you reschedule?
God bless Annie and Kim for putting that all together because that just seems like one big headache for me.
Something you don't have to deal with. Avoid as much as possible.
So, but it, choreographing and making sure, everything's good and, that you have a unique piece that stands out is also very, very difficult as well.
And that's where your passion and creative side is coming in.
Yeah, and that's what I love doing. I love creating. Back when I came home from school, I, kind of I like the feeling of seeing people react to my work, and I like being more behind the camera than in front of it. Mm-hmm. But if I'm in front of it, cool. That's cool too. Love that. But, I kind of like being the mastermind behind the work and not being the one that's doing it, So, and I like, because, being a dancer is very, very difficult. It's very hard. And, my heart goes out to people who are like, really
struggling and
trying to make this work. Yeah, because it's really hard. And, so that's why I chose to be a choreographer because, that way, people can just look at my work and not like look at me and be like, okay, well, you're not anyone legit. Like, I rather my work speak for, that's cool, what I do because I don't have, like when I was, dancing heavily, like in high school, like, I was a lot leaner, but, these days, like even when I tell people I'm a choreographer and I'm a dancer, they're like, no, you're not, get out of here. I'm like, no, really, I am. My leg can go all the way up to the ceiling. And,
damn, that's impressive.
I can turn like a top. So,
where do you see the evolution of your choreography going? Can
I actually ask a quick question about choreography? I was actually wondering, just on this, choreography is you're setting up a dance, right?
Yes.
So when you're setting up a dance, are you creating literal new dance moves, or are you reordering old dance moves in a new order?
There's definitely, moves that have been in, all styles, for years, like pirouettes and battements and kicks and things like that. But it's how you do it and is, how your styling comes in, like how you execute all of these,
so the quality
all
of the
these
dance
tricks and
important.
all of it's how you put it together. It's how, like, it could be as simple as like, a head placement or like your, where your arms are going for a certain jump or whatever to make it your own and make it like, ooh, I like that, like how you did that, like, that's cool. Mm-hmm. But a lot of the stuff is already seen and done before. It's just how you execute it and how, and how you put it in your dance and how you make it, different than what everyone else is already doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which
So
is
it's
something
difficult.
I was very curious about.
It's difficult because you don't know, like we go to competition, like you don't know what these studios are bringing to the table until, you know, you actually like, you know, sit in the audience and watch. And sometimes you don't even do that because you're too busy with your kids, like trying to make sure they're, you know, ready to go and good and everything's good for your dance. So you might not even see something and then the dance like beats yours and you're like, what just happened? Like, what? like, what is that? And then like some of the moms would be like, oh, I saw that. That was really good. And I was like, oh, great.
So back to the question then. Where do you see your brand going as a choreographer?
I want to continue to keep working with music artists. I have a dream. It's a big dream. It's a big goal of mine, but I do want to I want to be one of the main choreographers for a Super Bowl halftime show. Just one. Just say that I did it.
At least one, we'll say.
Yeah. I mean, really, you only get one. Depending upon, like, you know, who you work for. Like, you know.
And
like,
is that like the echelon, like the top echelon of choreographers?
I mean,
I
want to be doing like award shows, you know, like, you know, choreographing for the VMAs and choreographing for, you know, the Emmys and, you know, choreographing for those big award shows. Like that's
those are also
huge dream of
stunning.
mine.
Yeah, they're awesome.
Like, and you're making small steps
the
towards
second,
that already.
Yeah, thank you. The second that happens, like I will be bawling my eyes out. Like that'll be like a big moment for me. I won't stop until I get it because I really want to get there. Commercials, you know, would love to choreograph like a cute back to school kids commercial. I love seeing those on TV, like, you know, or like a holiday commercial. Like, you know, I just want to get into more of the commercial side of dance and less of, you know, the company and studio work. I love the competition world and all stuff like that. And I love teaching, and I'm never going to stop teaching or working for, you know, a studio in that sense. But, you know, I want to see like, you know, I want to be flipping channels, and I'm looking like I want to be flipping channels and like just come across like something that I did. Like that's what I want. Like really.
That would be like the I made it moment, you think?
Yeah.
That would be cool. That would be very
when the
cool.
show was on the air, I was flipping the channels and like came to my face. I was like, ah.
Come on.
I was like, no. Like, turn that off.
Yeah, Lea got me my only TV claim to fame, man. I was at the Sweet 16.
Oh, you were there?
Oh, yeah, man.
I'm
I was
jealous.
Blessed. It was very cool.
You were at that Halloween party?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
That was a funny time, man. I still remember that
that's
night
a
pretty
good,
well.
No, that was and I love Halloween.
Yeah.
Like, this is my month right now. So when I saw that episode, when I saw her party, I was like, wow. I was like, she's just like me.
We're the same person.
I was like, I love Halloween too. Like, we love Halloween. We're just like, we're like in it right now.
You get to dress up. You get to have fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, her party is great.
Yeah.
Was really, I was jealous about all those parties. I always wanted to go to one.
Sure.
You know?
They looked crazy. And it was pretty crazy there. They were fun times, man.
Yeah.
That was cool.
That's so funny that you went to her party. I'll have to tell her
it's
that.
such a trip.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember I saw myself I still remember I asked some older kid to get me like a bottle of whiskey that night, and like I snuck in like a water bottle on the bus on the way there.
Oh my God.
Some effed up shit. And I go back and I see my thing the next day on the TV, and I'm like shirtless on this kid's shoulders, and that's like my entry into MTV. I was like, all right.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Funny one. Just went a little brolic at the
That
Sweet
is
16.
crazy.
Yeah, it was funny.
I don't think I drank before going to Sweet 16s.
No, yeah, we were
Maybe one.
messed
I
up
don't
kids
know.
in high school. I don't know.
I have no idea.
So I'd like to wrap this up a little bit. I want to thank you so much, Rob, for taking the time to come in.
course,
I mean, you're telling me your
anything.
students are back at the
Anytime.
studio practicing, or hopefully they're practicing. So
I hope they're rehearsing my dances somewhere. Because,
thank you for taking the time to step away from the studio and come talk to us.
We
Oh, of
appreciate you,
course.
man.
Yeah.
Anytime. I appreciate you guys having me here. This is like my first time being asked to come in and speak about myself. So that's kind of
Hell yeah.
cool.
It was
You
very
want to throw in a couple of plugs where people can reach you, to maybe ask you to instruct them, where they can reach you on Instagram, you know?
You can reach me on Instagram at McTriz. It's actually a really funny nickname that I had put together when I was like in high school. And now I just have too many followers and I just can't, like, I don't want to redo it. I don't want to ruin it. So now I just keep it. I'm just like, whatever, maybe it'll stick like soon enough.
Cool.
It's
Perfect.
called McTriz. It's McTrizz. And yeah. And also please follow my love, Lea Robinson, at the Lea Robinson. That's TheLeaRobinson. And please stay tuned for her music coming out soon. You should be hearing it within the next couple of months.
Awesome.
Awesome, Rob. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Of course, thank you.
Well, guys, thanks for joining us for another episode of the Disconnection Podcast, where we aim to inform, inspire, and close the disconnections in your lives. We'd like to thank our guests for joining us today, for delivering a unique perspective on a range of topics. Please make sure to subscribe, rate, review our podcasts on iTunes and YouTube. My name's Ben,
I've been Kyle.
and we'll catch you on the next episode of Disconnection.